Almost 2 years ago, I asked if Tate McRae was our next big pop girl. Tate McRae had been fresh off Greedy, her first top 3 smash hit, and launching Think Later, a very solid sophomore pop effort that felt like a transition from her sad girl ballads to the dance floor ready anthems that she makes now. Her new record, So Close to What, completes that transition effortlessly. So Close to What is an unapologetic dance pop record with some pretty introspective lyrics about love and finding meaning in a very chaotic world. I was worried that Tate was actually going to lean a bit too hard into pop and lose some of her more candid, vulnerable songwriting work, but I feel like she's struck the balance really well this time. I think you guys know the drill. I'm going to talk a little bit about the era so far, its singles, and then I'm going to do a track-by-track review before assigning the record a final score. So let's be honest, the era has been a mess so far. As discussed in my last video, Tate had quite the journey going from a dance mom star to a viral singing sensation to a pop princess. Think Later was an unqualified success. It spawned 2 top 40 singles, even album track Run for the Hills charted despite not being a single. It should have been a single. The album went platinum and even spawned a sold-out tour. It got mostly positive reviews, and it established Tate as a force in the game. Because of the success of Think Later, One Republic frontman and pop hook writing legend Ryan Tedder came back to co-write and co-produce much of So Close to What, giving it a more cohesive energy. That being said, and this is no shade because I have my floor ticket to the Miss Possessive tour, I'm going. The promotion and the single run for this record feels pretty modest, especially since pop blew up last year. Listening to the record in full, the singles that preceded this record I felt didn't reflect what a jump this record was from Think Later in quality, which in my opinion felt a little slapped together in an effort to really capitalize off Greedy. If there is anyone that we should be blaming for the record's underperformance so far, it is definitely RCA. I have talked about this terrible label time and time again. They just really coast off the viral or TikTok success of their artists, never putting in the time or effort to do promo themselves, to do their work. The first single was It's Okay, I'm Okay. This was a throwbacky pop R&B banger that felt like an evolution of Think Later's sound. It was produced by Ariana Grande's go-to Ilya. This kiss-off anthem premiered while she was on tour. It really evoked Britney, and it even had a really cute and campy video. It would go on to hit the top 20 in its first week in the States, but eventually kind of fell off the charts. A second single, Two Hands, co-written by recent Songwriter of the Year winner Amy Allen, would launch in November. This track was done so dirty, mind you. The synthy electropop nature of the song and the choreography were extremely underrated. Because of its timing before the holidays, it failed to take off despite hitting the top 50. To make things even worse, the album itself leaked due to physicals being delivered too early, which caused Tate to completely change the track listing, adding 4 new tracks and making 2 tracks on the physicals bonus tracks. In response to this leak, she teased the sports car video saying that they forgot to leak this. This track was co-written by whisper pop queen Julia Michaels and was acclaimed for its very striking, in the zone, Britney and Pussycat style feel. The music video itself is a work of art, 12 stunning looks with a Cavalli cheetah print as the centerpiece. Despite all the leaks and the interruptions, I have to give it to Tate and her work ethic for being able to continue churning out music. It's because of that work ethic that she's in a very unique position where she's right on the cusp of becoming a supernova. She has a loyal fan base, streaming numbers are pretty good, sold out tours. I just really wish that her management or her label would put all of these ingredients together at the right time. I think she's ready. My question is if the general public will ever be ready. The title to the record itself, she revealed, is about driving towards nothing, whether it's perfection or the next big thing, and the answer to that question of where is the finish line is never answered. Which brings me to my general thoughts. With all of that ranting out of the way, I need to praise this record for being cohesive and well curated. You can really tell that Tate sat down with her team and built this record from scratch. Her production team, particularly Tedder, Lost Boy, and Grant Booten, they really channel the 2000s R&B sound authentically. It doesn't feel like cosplay or a tribute band. One name in the credits that my Lana Del Rey video essay fans will recognize is Emil Haney, who produced two of my personal favorites off the record, Green Light and Purple Lace Bra. On Purple Lace Bra, you could really feel the Born to Die influence in the lyricism and sound, but while I do appreciate that she evokes that, it still remains Tate. It never feels like she's doing an outright impression or impersonation. If you listen to her discography over the years, it still feels authentically her, continuing on themes about moving on, heartbreak, and self-empowerment. Amy Allen continues her hot streak of creating radio-friendly hooks that just get stuck in your head. I think she's credited on 6 tracks, including my favorite deep cut Signs. Meanwhile, Julia Michaels is on 4 tracks, including what I believe should be the next single, Dear God. Interestingly enough, I feel like some of the more obvious single choices were not chosen. It's Okay, I'm Okay, while still a very great track, ended up being my least favorite off the album. It was just really overshadowed by more developed and hooky songs. This record now contains 2 features, Flo Milli on Blood on My Hands, and her boyfriend and fellow pop star The Kid Laroi on I Know Love, which ought to also be released with a music video ASAP. Tate is not known for having features on her album, so this marks new territory for her. The results are impressive as each feature adds something to the song without drowning her out. I feel like her voicing has really improved on this last record. I remember on Think Later, one of my complaints was having to look up lyrics on most tracks, but now I hear her loud and clear. Vocally, she really impressed me on Dear God and Purple Lace Bra. Compared to Think Later, which I thought was schizophrenic in its track listing, this record feels more like a proper story, where tracks don't go from vulnerable ballad to anthemic bop like On the Fly. Everything feels more arranged to advance the story about closure. Aesthetically, I'm still gagged that she chose that cover art. I think it's a fine photo, but the other photo shoot pics that have circulated and even her vinyl alt cover just feel more fitting for the record. The Hollywood starlet sleaze imagery honestly works really well for the sonic landscape of the record, and I can't wait to see how she stages the Miss Possessive tour. Is this her best record yet? I would say so. I think it's her best pop record. I think it's mature and well thought out. My only flaw is that some of the tracks start to overlap too close in vibes, which brings us to our track by track. The record opens with Miss Possessive, which I think sets the dance pop tone perfectly. This track felt like a throwback to 2005-2006. There's this hypnotic synth and an R&B cadence to the verses. What I liked about this track is that there's a twist with Tate being the one to mark her territory. Most of her songs tend to be about not caring and being free, but here she's calling out her ops. This is her man. Keep your eyes off him. The construction of the song is excellent. The fun shift between the verses and the chorus keep it very fresh. Two Hands is perfection. I cannot believe it did not take off the way I wanted it to. The churchy synths, the clear dance breaks, the funny lyrics. It's a song about needing someone's 2 hands, their actions over their words. It's very romantic and quippy. I already got that bag for free, but if you bought it, then that's sweet. Just underscores that Tate already has the money and the fame. She just wants love. And I love the added post-chorus towards the end of the song where she says not 1, not 3. It adds a layer to the song. And that music video with the F1 theming and the choreography, I cannot believe we let this flop. Revolving Door is a more low-key track. It's a bit understated. I love the metaphor of the revolving door where Tate keeps coming back to this relationship that's clearly not good and she knows it. The pre-chorus has a very soulful quality that contrasts the more monotonous, resigned chorus. The bridge injects a new energy to it, a manicness as she recalls the hurt and pain as she breaks down, needing a minute. Blood on My Hands is a newer track. Flo Milli tears up the track during her verse, matching Tate's energy bar for bar. I like her little ad-libs that Tate does to make the collab feel intentional. This one's an up-tempo track about finding someone new after your toxic ex and seeing the aftermath of that. Melodically, there's some cool variation here and there. The vocals towards the end are a highlight for me. Tate has said that this is her favorite track that she's made for the record, and I see that. Dear God is an absolute banger. I think it resembles a few of the tracks on Think Later, but it's more elevated, it's better written. The verses tell a story about falling for someone you shouldn't. I'm addicted to that pre-chorus progression. I feel like it flows so well into this chorus that's soars. And she just keeps on ranting on the post-chorus. It really speaks to how this love drives her crazy. It is hooky, it is complete. Despite being a short track, it almost reminds me of Greedy in that she jam-packs so much into a short time. There's even a transitional ending where she's praying to God to replace these memories that haunt her and tempt her back. She really took that mantle of Canadian R&B pop queen from Nelly Furtado. Purple Lace Bra was an initial standout for me. My first thought was how similar this sounded to Diet Pepsi by Addison Rae. They have that same slow burn vibe to it, very inspired by early Lana Del Rey. Ironically enough, Lana's producer Emil Haney worked on this one. The strings give it a cinematic feel as she sings about a sultry love affair. It's very breathy and probably the hardest song to parse lyrics-wise, but she sounds amazing on it. The bridge is a welcome moment where she calls out her love interest for not seeing her as more than a hookup. Sports Car smash because it is an inventive track for Tate. I think it homages Buttons by the Pussycat Dolls while remaining very modern. There's a playful energy to the track that teases you into this chorus that has this cool whisper delivery to it. The production in particular is that right level of crunchy where the synths chase her voice. The final section where she goes off and tells her he can go ride, you know, at the very end where we get that beat, we get to ride with her. I dug that. It's very meta, and the video is just a serve. Signs is my personal favorite track. It's this one that really stood out to me on my first listen. It's a track where she gives an instruction manual to her dense lover to know what signs to watch out for. He should know her better and read her mind. The chorus is just an earworm that's just built up to so organically through the verses and the pre-chorus. It feels like a classic pop song. It's very relatable, something that makes you go, damn, even Tate has this problem. And I love that key change at the very end. It just adds an energy to the track, and it's gonna sound amazing live. I Know Love with the Kid Laroi love anthem between these two pop stars that we needed. This track is really cute because it recaps how they got together while talking about how they started as friends, and then a year later they're still kicking it together. Laroi and Tate complement each other's voices so well. The chorus is an earworm, the bridge is fun and flirty. This could definitely be a summer smash single. We need more pop power couples, you know, making these bangers together. Come on. Like I Do is an adventurous, slower track. I think it's a more resigned R&B sound to it that makes it sound very different from the other tracks. It's a little bit of whiplash from that last lovey-dovey track in that she talks about this complicated relationship with someone she's not sure wants to kill her or be her. The spoken interlude in the middle is a highlight. I felt like it was a much needed splash of personality. It's always a gag to hear her spoken voice, and I do think it sets up the next track pretty well. It's Okay, I'm Okay remains a bop. I cannot get enough of the part where she says, I don't want him anyway, girl, take him towards the end. I feel like that's a mantra to live by, but I still question whether or not this should have been the lead. No, I'm Not in Love is a total smash. This one feels like an answer to Miss Possessive in the way that it's constructed. It feels like the opposite of that track where Tate's trying to take back the story, the narrative. The chorus sees her say that she's not feeling it even though she knows he's in love. I just love the attitude on this one. It's confident, assured. It is a really cool dance break kind of track. Why would you think that as the punctuation is a chef's kiss? I feel like this one could also be a single. Means I Care is the final straightforward kind of dance pop banger on the record, and it doesn't disappoint. I felt like this one has this infectious synth that traces her vocals and connects to the drums in a really cool way. Lyrically, this one sees her warn her lover that if she ghosts him, it's not because she doesn't love him, it's because she loves him the most and wants to protect him from the fallout from her issues and emotions. It's an interesting point of view switch that signals her maturity. Green Light, though, is one of my favorites. I just really love this track. It might be my favorite track of hers ever. Emil Haney and Grant give this a down-tempo flair. Tate gets this moment where she really gets to return to her sad girl roots. There's almost like a folk kind of quality to this. This track sees her talk about being stuck in the zone where she can't quite move on from her ex, even though she's tried to be what he's wanted. She's waiting at the green light but can't go home. She hasn't healed. Despite seeing the green light, she just cannot move forward. Stuck up in a rewrite of the same song is my favorite line. It really stuck with me emotionally. The track reminded me of Rubber Band, which is one of my favorite tracks of hers, but this one's much more grown up and mature, and I think that's why I love this track. Nostalgia is another slow burn ballad that really caps off the record. It's a return to the more acoustic sound, intentionally to signal her completion of the journey. The track sees her lament the end of a relationship. I love the revelation that nostalgia didn't come in until she lost him. Each verse starts with her talking about her parents and her brother and their regrets in life before coming back to herself, wondering how she ended up where she is now. What I really love about this track is that it's about the fear of living so far into the future or so into the past that you just don't appreciate the present. It feels very deep. Her vocals on this are crisp. The passion in her voice and the instrumental really sell the song to me. I love the abrupt ending of it all because it makes you think that she has more to say, and maybe she does, hopefully a deluxe with siren songs. And fuck it, because I got the CD, I will cover the 2 bonus tracks. These do not count towards my score because they're bonus tracks. Better Than I Was and Call My Bluff. Better Than I Was is a slower track. I get why she cut it. It's a little repetitive, but it does advance this idea of her ex moving on without her. Call My Bluff, I'm a little bit sad got cut because it reminds me of the Dangerous Woman era Ariana Grande sound with the instrumental. Subject matter, it covers toxic relationship arc pretty well, but its original placement I felt would have dragged down the record. Which brings me to my final score. All in all, this record continues 2025's impressive drop so far in pop, so close to what doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it does signal that Tate is ready to graduate to main pop girl status. If only RCA got the memo, I am happy to give this an 8.4 out of 10. Highly recommended. Go listen to it right now. And that's a wrap. Oh my god, I haven't had a record this dense to sort of like review, so I'm glad that I'm back to it. Thank you guys for tuning in. What did you think about the record? A shout out to my members. Thank you so much for taking the extra step and supporting my channel. A shout out to my subscribers. I got more videos on the way for you. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I can't wait to see you guys next video pretty soon.